Hello, gorgeous, and welcome. Today we are going to be doing healing if you lack boundaries. So, if you've ever felt like somebody or people in general walk all over you, if you have a hard time saying no to people, if you feel like your energy is just constantly being drained, giving it to other people, chances are you're lacking some boundaries. So we are going to be doing EFT today to help clear out any emotional debris and maybe some blocks that are preventing you from setting healthy boundaries. Now, boundaries are something that we really do need. If we don't have boundaries, if you're on here, I'm sure you know the effects of not having them, where you just feel drained. You might feel pissed off and angry at other people. You might feel like you're not heard. You might feel like you're not important enough. You might feel like you can't say no to other people. Maybe people aren't going to like you if you say no to them. Those sorts of things. So, as you probably know, my name is Melissa Goodman, and we are going to be going through this healing today. Now, if you work with crystals and essential oils, I highly recommend that you have your crystals and your oils available to you. If you don't work with them, that's completely okay as well. You don't necessarily need to have them. I've just found in my own experience that they definitely support the process. If you're looking for a suggestion, I highly recommend red jasper. And for your essential oil, to be honest with you, I recommend that you select an oil that you feel called to. So let this be more of like an intuitive calling for what oil needs to be in your presence. Okay. Now, if you don't have them and you're like, oh, well, now I can't do this, please don't let it stop you. Go ahead and do this anyways. You can come back and do it at a later date if you want to, with your crystals and your oils available to you then. Okay. So let's get started. To begin, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I want you to take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, make a sound. Oh. Again, breathing in, feeling your body growing nice and tall. And exhale, soften. Feeling your awareness coming into this space. If you find that there are any distractions around you right now, I encourage you to shut down those distractions or maybe even physically move locations. If you need somewhere a little bit quieter, you can always pause me, go ahead, do that, and join me when you're ready. And I want you to go back to a time where you didn't have a healthy boundary in place. So it could be, somebody asks if you want to go hang out and you don't have the energy, but you say yes anyways because you like to people please. And that's no judgment. Maybe it's a time somebody asked you for money and you didn't feel comfortable, but you gave it to them anyways. Maybe it is a time where, I don't even know, whatever your story is, right? You don't want to do something where somebody's asking you to do something you don't feel comfortable doing it. It's outside of your comfort zone, but you say yes because you don't have a boundary in place. Okay. And now with that event, I want you to feel into your body and how intense does that event feel for you? 10 being it was really intense, it was really uncomfortable, you didn't enjoy the experience, maybe it really pissed you off. And 1 being like, oh, there's really no emotion, didn't really bother me. And just label that event with somewhere between a 1 and a 10. And notice where that emotion sits in your body. Where does it feel heavy, maybe a little stuck, maybe it's just uncomfortable, maybe it feels like a heavy ball, however it shows up for you, because everybody's so different. So there's no right or wrong here. And if you're not sure, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to guess. You're going to guess where it would be in your body. Perfect. And then as you're ready, opening your eyes. Perfect. And we're going to start tapping. So we're going to start on the karate chop point of the hand, and you can do one hand or both hands together. Okay, taking a nice deep breath. We're going to do a lot of breathing through this. And exhale. Even though I don't have healthy boundaries. And then you're going to repeat that. Even though this event, and then think about your event, really pissed me off, or fill in your emotion, okay? That's the beauty of this, is you can fill in, you can replace any word that I say. If it doesn't feel true for you, replace it with something that feels true for you. So if I say I feel really pissed off, and you're like, no, I was just kind of disappointed, then you're going to change it to feeling disappointed. Make sense? Good. All right. Even though I lack healthy boundaries, even though I have a really hard time saying no to people, I choose to love and forgive myself. Take a nice deep breath on that. Oh. Good. We're going to go to the top of the head. I don't like to disappoint people. I don't like to say no. I was taught at a really young age that if I could help someone, I should. I shouldn't say no if I can help somebody. Take a nice deep breath on that. Oh. Good. Going to the inside of the eyebrows. I don't like to disappoint people. I don't like to say no. Because the truth of it is, I want everybody to love me. I want people to respect me. But I don't feel respected. Not when I don't have boundaries in place. We'll go to the outside of the eyes, kind of where we get the crow's feet. Nice deep breath here. Make a sound on the exhale. Ah. When I think about this event and how it made me feel, I feel so pissed off. I feel so angry. How could they disrespect me like that? And then look up like you're thinking and be like, but did they really disrespect me? And then say, I didn't have a healthy boundary. I didn't respect myself. Take a nice deep breath on that, because that might hit home for you of like, oh shit. So nice deep breath on that. Oh. Good. We'll go underneath the eyes. When I was young, I was taught, and then you're going to fill in the blank this time, okay? When I was young, I was taught that I couldn't have boundaries, whatever your story is. There's no right or wrong. And so I've lived my entire life thinking this. One hand on the heart, tapping the divot just below the nose. Nice deep breath again. I've lived my entire life believing that I can't say no, or whatever your story is, right? Fill in the blank if it doesn't resonate with you. I've lived my entire life allowing people to walk all over me, allowing myself to not implement healthy boundaries. We'll go underneath the bottom lip. Nice deep breath. When I think about this event where I didn't have a healthy boundary, it really makes me feel pissed off. My energy was so drained. I was so off center. I lost my balance. I became an emotional wreck. We'll tap underneath the collarbones. Nice deep breath. Make a sound on the exhale. Oh, soften towards any feelings that are coming up in your body. We're not trying to change them. We're simply acknowledging them. I don't know if I can have healthy boundaries. I've spent my entire life letting people walk all over me. I believe that in order to be a good girl, I can't say no. I can't have healthy boundaries because people won't like me then. People are going to think that I'm a bitch, that I'm hard to get along with, that I'm rigid. People are going to think, and then fill in your story. What will people think if you have a healthy boundary? Good, and say it again. Maybe go a little bit deeper this time if more comes up for you. What are people going to think about you if you have healthy boundaries? And then take a nice deep breath on that. Oh. We're going to move on to the wrist point. So it's like having your wrists together and tapping. You can do one hand, or you can just turn your hand sideways if that's more comfortable for you. So tapping there. What would people think if I started to say no? Do I care? And think about that for a moment. Do you care what people will think if you say no, if you implement a healthy boundary? And if you do, just be like, yeah, I do kind of care what people are going to think about me, but I'm okay with that. I'm choosing to respect myself enough to have boundaries because I'm angry at people for not respecting the boundaries that I didn't have. We'll go to the top of the head and let's say that again. I'm angry at people for not respecting the boundaries that I didn't have. I'm angry at myself for allowing people to walk all over me. I'm angry at myself for draining my energy, for complaining about people. I'm angry at myself for not having boundaries. To be honest, I'm pissed off that I don't have boundaries. But I didn't think that I could. Go the outside of the eyes. I didn't think that I could be a really good person and have boundaries? And then look up and be like, is that even possible to be a good person and have boundaries? Well, you know what? I get to choose my beliefs. I get to choose things that empower me. We'll go underneath the eyes. So I'm choosing right now to change my beliefs around boundaries. Because healthy boundaries are essential for my energy. Healthy boundaries are essential for people to respect me. And I can state my boundaries in a loving way. One hand on the heart, tap the divot just below the nose, a nice deep breath. I'm choosing right now to love and respect myself enough to set healthy boundaries. But what are people going to say? And you can do that. Make that face. Oh, what are people going to say? Go underneath the bottom lip onto the chin. It doesn't matter. They're going to respect me for having boundaries. And if they don't respect my boundaries, and then look up like you're thinking again, be like, do I really want them in my life? And think about it for a moment. Do you really want somebody in your life if they're not going to respect your boundaries? If the only reason that they were part of your life is because they could always count on you to say yes, always count on you to show up, to do things that you don't want to do you really want somebody like that to be a part of your life? And if you do, if you're like, yeah, I kind of do, why don't you take a nice deep breath and be like, I still choose to love and approve of myself. I still choose to love and approve of myself. Tapping just below the collarbones. Having healthy boundaries can be fun. It really can. I can respect my energy. I can respect my time. And I can even say no. Do I dare? I can say no if I don't want to do something. Having boundaries can be fun. Having boundaries is going to be fun. It's going to be empowering. It will empower me. And it's going to empower other people so they know what my boundaries are. Because if I don't tell them, they don't know. Tapping onto the wrist point, take a nice deep breath. Closing your eyes once again. Continue tapping on the wrist point. And I want you to go back to that event that you found at the beginning. And I want you to imagine now, pretend, make up that you set a healthy boundary. You set a healthy boundary. And so you're literally changing that event. You're respecting your time, your energy. You're letting that other person know what that boundary is. And if you're not sure, just make it up. Make it up. And now you're going to feel your energy in that moment, feel more empowered, like sit up straight. You see yourself in your image or in your mind, or pretending that you're taller now, that you set that boundary. And that entire event now has shifted and transformed into something more empowering, more in alignment, and more respectful for you. Good. We'll place both hands over our heart, just resting them there. Take a nice deep breath in. Oh. If your body needs to sway side to side, let it sway. Feels really good. Just let your body move. Don't judge yourself. Get so caught up in judging ourselves. Just boring. Just have fun. Okay. So thinking back now to the first event that you came up with, when you think of that event now, how do you feel? You can keep your eyes closed for a couple more minutes. Has your number gone up from the beginning? Has it stayed the same? Has it gone down? If you had to guess, what would the number be around that event, around that situation now? And know that if it has gone up, it just means that the numbness has worn off and you're more aware of it now. And it could also mean that you need more healing on the underlying event for you, something more personal. If the number stayed the same, chances are it's very similar. You need a more personalized story, so more one-on-one healing. If your number has gone down, it means that you have actually shifted out some of the blocks and the barriers that you had around creating healthy boundaries. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Beautiful. You are more than welcome to go back and to repeat this again, going a little bit deeper into your story. If you do want a more personalized session where we can really dive in and find out what the core issue is to help collapse your story, then I am more than happy to guide you through a one-on-one session through Skype. We can do that, or through Facebook video if that's more convenient. Otherwise, like I said, go back, do this again. It is a very powerful one. It is meant to be repeated several times. You can, work with the same story if that's still a higher number, still very sensitive for you. If the number has dropped, then you can always work with another story if you feel compelled to. I really hope that you found this useful. If you do have any questions, of course, you are more than welcome to reach out to me, and I am happy to support you along your journey. Make sure you thank yourself for taking time, for showing up, and for healing parts of you today. Even if you don't feel a shift right now, it doesn't mean that something hasn't shifted. With this tapping, with this healing work, a lot of times it is kind of the accumulative effect. So sometimes people will notice something like right off the bat. And if you're one of those people that feels that, that's fantastic. If you're not feeling anything, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. Notice over the next few days, over the next few weeks, how things start to shift for you, because sometimes we don't always make that connection, right? Of, well, we did that work like last week. How is it showing up now? But it can definitely show up in a couple days or a couple weeks from now. I highly encourage you right now to come up with one healthy boundary that you are committed to implementing into your life right now. At least one healthy boundary. Start there, and then you can build up from there. I hope that you have an absolutely fabulous day. Until next time, bye for now.